Good morning from the Ninja Nation, where we talk about all things ninja all the time. This is Peter Parnay. So we've covered 2 of the 3 parts to the listing sequence. Now let's talk about the appointment itself. As we like to say, it's showtime. There are actually 2 parts to the listing appointment: walking through the house, taking notes, confirming the information you received during the pre-listing interview, and then the actual 16-step questions. I always thought that our way of starting a relationship with the seller was really strange. Here's the way we start the relationship. Let me point out all the flaws in your house, and then let's get into a fight over pricing. What a terrific way to start a relationship, right? So one of the most valuable parts to doing the pre-listing interview is how it completely changes the narrative while you're walking through the house. Prior to Ninja, I always felt like I was walking through the house with an eye towards criticism. Although there was some eyeing and oohing at the pretty parts, there was always that awkward inevitability that we were going to have to talk or address the issues, It was kind of like getting psyched up to tell someone their baby was ugly, and I didn't like it one darn bit. Questions 10 and 11 in the pre-listing interview allow for a completely different dynamic. If you recall, that's asked if you were going to live in the house for another 5 years, what would you do, and how would you rate your house on a scale of 1 to 10? And of course, you're going to bring and have out the pre-listing interview sheet during your tour of the house. And you can refer to it. That lets them know that you actually took notes. And now you can comment and agree on the items the seller suggested they might tackle if they were going to live there another 5 years, rather than point them out in a disparaging way. And since they brought them up, it puts the conversation as a point of agreement rather than a criticism, which really changes the start of the relationship into a collaborative one rather than a contentious one. So this week, if you aren't already doing it, make sure you take the pre-listing interview sheet with you on the listing interview and refer to it as you are walking through the house with the seller for the first time. It shows you listened, took notes, and are diligent. Talking about a differentiator. If you see something that they didn't mention that might require attention, try this question out. So, Mr. Seller, what are your thoughts about the blank? For example, if there are some areas that need repair that they didn't mention, just ask, Mr. Seller, I noticed that the gutters could use some attention. What are your thoughts about that? One more time, the questions are key. So, see you next Monday as we continue our little path down the 16-step seller process.